Buongiorno a tutti, mi chiamo Charlotte e oggi vi parlo di due strutture italiane che si usano ognuno un verbo diverso, ma vogliono dire più o meno la stessa cosa, okay, almeno in inglese. In inglese si usa per esempio il verbo to make, ma in italiano si usa o il verbo fare o il verbo rendere. Okay, so this video is mainly for my Italian club members. If you're not a member, you can become a member. Just go to my website, morelanguagesolutions.com. That's MOORE, languagesolutions.com, and the links are under the video. And please feel free to leave me a message underneath in the comments, and I'll get back to you when I can, or just to have a peruse of my my website, and you'll find under Language Club information all the stuff you need to know about my French and Italian and soon to be English language clubs and courses and that kind of thing. So here is the handout that my club members will be getting. Eccolo, there it is. And as you know, these club handouts concentrate each month on a certain aspect of the Italian language, in this instance, with maybe in this video we've got the contrasting of two verbs, which in English are used or translate just to the verb to make. So andiamo avanti con qualche esempio. Ok, so ascoltate. Il brutto tempo mi rende triste. Not the best one for today because it's actually quite sunny. Il brutto tempo mi rende triste. So the bad weather makes me or renders me sad. Triste. Mi rende triste. Let's move on here actually so you can see it. So anyone, club members, you'll be able to look at this document in front of you while you're watching the video. So mi rende triste. Okay, so look, my coaster stuck to my magnet. That's quite funny. Scusa. Okay, so it makes me sad. So here, for example, we're talking about the bad weather. So it makes is, oh, that worked quite well, didn't it? I have to look at the monitor as I'm like also looking at the camera and trying to underline. So rendere, the verb rendere, it can mean to give something back, like to reconstitute something, to give something back. It's got a few meanings, but this meaning that we're looking at is to have an effect upon someone, okay? More on that later. So it makes, the verb rendere is an ERE verb, so in the third person singular it form, if you like, it ends with an E, okay? And the me bit here, that's a direct object pronoun, so it makes me, and the object pronoun goes before the verb in Italian. The conjugated verb's here, object pronoun goes here, which means me, and then triste is the adjective, the describing word that describes your state of being, okay? So triste. So in order to understand how these kind of things work, or how to improve your language learning in any language really, you need to know some kind of basic grammatical elements, and noun, verbs and adjectives are a great start, and certainly in Italian you need to know that a verb is the doing word and conjugations of that verb will change depending on the subject of the sentence. So for example, in this sentence, mi rende triste, what were we talking about? What was it? Sì, il brutto tempo, the bad weather. But it could be anything. It could be il film, il libro, la canzone, the book, the film, the way you're speaking to me, the noise of that car makes me sad and happy, whatever. It could be any singular thing. It makes. So on the conjugation of the verb rendere, you will see the I, you, he, she, it line, third person singular, and that's this one here. And so the bad weather, il brutto tempo, mi rende triste. The subject of that sentence is the bad weather. So in this short little sentence here, you have to assume that I've already mentioned the bad weather. Oh, it's bad weather today. Oh, I hate bad weather. It makes me sad. Mi rende triste. So the subject is the weather, even though it's not mentioned in this little written version. The verb is to make or to render, and that agrees with the bad weather. And then triste is the adjective which follows the verb rendere. And as it happens, mi is the direct object pronoun. So the weather, it makes me sad. The reason I'm stressing all these different parts is because you'll often see this verb construction to make you sad, to make you happy, to make you cough, to make you laugh. Even though you use two different verbs, depending on which meaning you have, you'll have to use direct object pronouns with the verb. So they're also listed on here. Eccoli qua, just there. Mi, ti, lo, la, ci, vi, and li, le. Okay, so we'll come back to those. So, il brutto tempo mi rende triste. It makes me sad. Let's look at another example. Questa canzone mi fa sorridere. Now that's different to the first example in a few ways. So it's still something that has an effect on me. Mi fa sorridere. Let me find a nice, let's use this red pen. Shake it up a little bit. Mi fa sorridere. So I'm not going to write the whole thing because there's not really that much room. But I want you to focus on the fact that here we have it makes. So that's a bit more familiar probably because fare we learn means to do or to make, right? So questa canzone, so this song, it makes, so that verb is conjugated with in accordance with the song, which is the third person singular, just like the bad weather. And it makes me, there's the little direct object pronoun which comes before the conjugated verb. The weather makes me. Now that's not an adjective there, is it? Sorridere. Sorridere vuol dire to smile. So, mi fa sorridere. The difference here is that the verb is changed to fare in the third person instead of rendere, and also instead of putting an adjective like triste at the end, we've got the verb to smile, right? So if you know that you can put the word to in front of a verb to get your like English equivalent or counterpart, that might help. So to smile, I smile, he smiles, she smiles, we smile, you smile, etc. So when you take a verb and you put a pronoun like I or he or we in front of it, that is calling it, that is conjugation. So sorridiamo, we are smiling. So you can conjugate a verb, okay? So members of my club probably should be aware by now of what a verb is and how it's conjugated in Italian. And with this verb structure, mi fa sorridere, you use it when you're following to make with a verb. Okay, so we have rendere plus an adjective and fare plus an infinitive verb. Let's look at some more examples. And then you guys can have a think about which verb goes with which example. So, let me see. Why do I always put a Scottish accent on when I zoom in? I don't know. It just happens. It's just natural. Maybe I should have put an Italian accent on, like this. Okay. Roberto makes me laugh. So, in most of these, 2 or 3 of them have got the me part. So, whenever there's a me, I'll just underline them, you're going to use the Italian direct object pronoun me, which is spelled M-I. So it makes me proud, makes me blush. In this one here, it makes us happy. And then that one here, down at the bottom, the state of the world makes us sad. So, us. So the bits underlined in red here will be replaced in the Italian translation with a direct object pronoun. So it's going to be me, ci. Okay, this is all on the handout here. Okay, that blue section there. In fact, I've actually put all the direct object pronouns in blue, most of them on the sheet, so that you can see where they are and sort of tell them apart from other units of linguistic interest. So, Roberto, so he makes me laugh. So if he makes me laugh, and I know that in English you can put the word to in front of a verb to check that it's a verb, if you like, then I want you to recognise that laugh is a verb, right? So in this sentence in Italian, it will be Roberto mi fa, he makes me. So fa agrees with Roberto because he makes me. And then laugh would be ridere. Ridere. Una cosa che mi piace fare, ridere. Mi piace ridere. So he makes me laugh, so we've got a verb here, so we need to use the verb fare and the reflexive pronoun because he makes me laugh. If Roberto makes us laugh, then we replace me in this sentence with ci. Okay? Roberto ci fa ridere. If, lady's name, Carla. If Carla makes me laugh, we just replace Roberto's name with Carla, and the conjugation is already in the third person, which agrees with he or she, or it. Okay, so it could be like, your dress makes me laugh. Not a very nice thing to say, but you could say, il tuo vestito mi fa ridere, okay, because it's in the third person conjugation. He, she, or it makes me plus a verb, okay? So here we have you might see this and think, oh, there's a verb in there. Attenzione, c'è un verbo. So dancing makes me happy. Right, in this sentence, you do have to use an infinitive verb here, actually, because dancing, that kind of ing ending that we, even though that's a noun, we've got like a ing at the end of a verb, dance becomes dancing, and that's suddenly a noun. But in Italian, they would say ballare. Ballare. Oh, we've got me, makes me happy. So the main thing here is the happy. That's not a verb, that's an adjective. It describes someone's state. Happy, sad, thin. But actually, it doesn't just have to be a state of being. A description word like thin, fat, old, young, stressed, anxious, content, passionate. They're all adjectives, they describe things. So that's the main thing. Verb, adjective. To laugh, and then we have a description word. Ballare mi. Now I'm not going to say mi fa felice, precisely because I need to remember the verb rendere. Okay, it makes me. Ballare mi rende, and then I'm going to use felice. Felice. That's a nice one. The nice thing about the word felice, the adjective felice, is that it doesn't change between, like if it's a man who is happy or a woman is happy. The word felice already ends in an E. So you don't have to put an A or an O on it if you like. Whereas if it was, let's think of an adjective, stanco. Stanco, stanca. Many, and in fact probably most adjectives in Italian have a masculine version and a feminine version, right? Okay, like stanco and stanca. You could say, although I hope you don't, questa lezione mi rende stanco. This lesson is making me tired. Or you could say il brutto tempo mi rende stanco. Okay, the bad weather is making me tired. But if you said stanco, then I would assume that you're a guy. But if you're a lady, you have to sort of make your gender known by agreeing the adjective with your gender, which is interesting in these times, isn't it? Because that's quite topical. If, for example, it makes the bad weather makes us tired, then not only would we have to say ci rende, it makes us, but we would have to agree the adjective stanco with us. And if there's a guy in the group, then stanchi looks like this. Stanco, masculine. Stanca, feminine, singular. Stanchi, siamo stanchi, we are tired, for example. But if it's just a group of girls, then it would be siamo stanche. Anyway, that's besides the point. So the main thing about that is that we have an adjective in the sentence. Ballare mi rende felice. So dancing makes me happy. Or to dance makes me happy, if that's easier for you. But where you want to say dancing, reading, sleeping, going to the gym, swimming, if you want to use the ing form of a verb as a noun, like an activity if you like, in Italian you just take the verb, okay? Leggere, mi rende felice. Andare in spiaggia, dormire, mi rende felice, whatever, okay? So let's have a look at this next one. So we're looking for whether the verb has, not the verb, the phrase has a verb to make us plus an adjective or to make us plus a verb. So here we have it makes us, what's this? Che cos'è questo? Happy. Okay, so up here we've got happy is felice and we've got rendere. So again, to make someone happy. If it makes you happy. Right, so happy here would be, makes us happy. This is quite difficult. So the reason this is difficult is because it makes us happy. Let's do it one bit at a time. So it makes, the verb to make, because it's followed by an adjective, we use rendere. Because it's in the it form, that makes it the third person singular. Rende. In fact, it doesn't matter what it is that makes you happy, because it's the third person it. However, over here we've got the subject of the sentence identified. Now that's typical in Italian as well. So it makes us happy. So the us bit, we render, if you like, using the pronoun ci. Ci rende felice. Now, you know what I was just saying about adjectives needing to agree in gender and number? Well, happy, felice, ends with an E in the singular. So in the plural, it ends with an I, and that happens. So, ci rende felici. Yes, it does, because we are happy. Siamo felici. Ci rende felice. Now, seeing you with Claudio. Okay, seeing you. We've got a few things going on here. So, seeing you with Claudio. This is actually the subject of the sentence. And you could translate this and put it at the beginning or put it at the end, but put it at the end. So, vederti. So if you're going to say something like, oh, it makes us happy to see you with Claudio, this is probably someone that you know well that you're talking to. So I'm putting this in the informal form here. So vederti, seeing you, to see you. When you have an object pronoun like you after an infinitive verb, you can put the two together, drop the final E of the infinitive and add the T. Vederti. con Claudio. Okay, so seeing you with Claudio makes us happy. You can either say vederti con Claudio ci rende felici, or you can say ci rende felici vederti con Claudio. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is, because you got that makes us happy, and happy is an adjective, you need to use the verb rendere. Okay, let's go to the next one. You are making me blush. Ooh, mi fai arrossire. So it depends here which version of, like, which you're addressing, because in Italian there's like 3 versions. You can either be addressing the the formal you, which is the lei form, or you could be addressing like voi, you guys, you plural, or you can be addressing someone by the 2 form, singular, informal. Okay, someone you know, like a friend or a neighbour or someone the same kind of age as you, maybe even a colleague, your child, that kind of thing. So let's do the 2 form here. So you are making me blush. Blush. Now, funnily enough, I suppose you could maybe use blushed as an adjective, okay? So here you need to remember that blush is a verb. Okay, so to frown, to blush, to scowl, to glare, to stare, anything to do with your face. If it's an action that someone's making you do or perform, if you like, then it's a verb. So arrossire, let me just double check. Double R, I think. Okay, so arrossire is the verb. I'm going to write it here. Arrossire. Okay, we're going to do it in the 2 form. So when you've got a verb and it makes you blush, makes you smile, makes you sing, makes you sneeze, any of those things, then you need to be using the verb fare. Okay, so you are making, all of that bit there is translated with the verb fare in the 2 form. Mi fai arrossire. Just because the board's getting a little bit busy, let's put that on a smaller board so you can see it, okay? Mi fai, ma dai, mi fai arrossire. Okay, it sounds quite flirty, doesn't it, I suppose? Oh, you're making me blush, stop it. Oh, go on. So if you want to say, oh, go on, in Italian, or like, come on, guys, if you're cheering a team on, you can use the verb dare in the 2 form. Weird, isn't it? Like, dai, ma dai, mi fai arrossire. Oh, you're making me blush. So on your sheet in the fare plus an infinitive verb part, you have a similar example to that. Let's see where it is. So it's letter D. It's in the voi form, so it's slightly different. Voi ragazze mi blank arrossire. So I'll give you this example here. So this is in the 2 form with the verb fare because it's followed by a verb, an infinitive verb, the whole form, unconjugated. So that's the 2 form of fare. But if you wanted to make it the voi form, then you change the verb into the voi form of fare, which is fate. Mi fate arrossire. You guys are making me blush. Okay, awesome. Right, where are we now? This one. Very much taken from current circumstances in my life here. My family makes me proud. Okay, so what have we got? We've got not a verb but an adjective. So proud. There are a few ways that you can translate that in Italian, but I want to use a really long one. Okay, orgogliosa. Io sono orgogliosa della mia famiglia. So have a look at that crazy looking adjective. Orgogliosa. Orgogliosa. That is the feminine version of the adjective proud, and it's obviously feminine because I'm a lady and I'm saying I am proud. Okay, and when you use an adjective it needs to agree with the gender and number of the subject. So orgoglioso, orgogliosa. So there'll either be an O or an A at the end of that, depending on whether you're a lady or a gent. Now, my family makes me proud. So my family, la mia famiglia, that's third person singular. It's as if you're saying, it makes me proud, okay? Or she makes me proud because it's la mia famiglia. I'm going to say mia famiglia, to make me proud. So if proud is an adjective, then do I use fare or rendere? And if you can't remember, here's the board which tells you fare plus a verb, rendere plus an adjective. Okay, so we're using rendere. Makes me, they make me, or it makes me if you like. That can be difficult as well when, for example, in English you could say they make me proud, my family makes me proud, my family make me proud, depending on whether you're sort of using plural or singular. Mia famiglia mi rende orgogliosa. So I've popped in a little me there, okay, because you have to have something there to complete the sentence. But it could be they make us proud, okay, in which case it would be mia famiglia ci rende orgogliosa. Ooh, hang on a minute, attenzione. So if it's, let's just make this completely accurate, shall we? La nostra famiglia ci rende orgogliosi. Okay, what's happening there? La nostra, so our family, la nostra famiglia, ci rende, so the ci means us, rende because it's followed by an adjective, and orgogliosi, which agrees with the fact that we're talking about we, right? And unless I live with purely women, then I'm going to say orgogliosi with an I at the end. Very complicated, this stuff, very complicated, but I hope you're following me. Right, let's have a look at the last one. So this one, I'm not really too worried about the state of the world. It is a bit, I'm trying to stay out of politics, it is a bit crazy at the moment, but I remain ever positive, and so yeah, I hope you're all well and not going through too difficult a time at the moment. In spite of that, let's use the current COVID situation to try and make a sentence that's probably quite accurate for a lot of people. So, the state of the world makes us sad. Makes us sad. Okay, so here, the main thing is sad. It's an adjective. It describes someone. It also describes a state of being. Okay, so if that helps you remember, that's what it's about. The state. Lo stato. Lo stato. So the state in Italian starts with an S plus a consonant, right? So whenever you've got an S plus a consonant, like lo scherzo, the joke, or lo zai, no, that's not a good example. It's precisely not a good example. Lo sport. Okay, that English word, S plus a consonant because it's SP. Lo sport instead of il sport or il stato. So whenever you see lo and it's followed by a noun, it's probably going to be a masculine noun that starts with an S and a T. Or it might start with a Z, like lo zaino, which is a backpack. Lo stato del mondo. Lo stato del mondo. It makes, I haven't got enough space here. The state of the world makes us sad. Okay, so if it's us that are made sad, we need the the direct object pronoun. Make us. It has a direct impact on us. So it's ci rende sad. Now, if sad, like happy in Italian, ends with an E in the singular form, so let me write what I'm talking about here, felice or triste, if that's the singular form, io sono felice, Sara è felice, siamo felici, remember? Like, it makes us happy to see you with Claudio, in that example that we had. Felice became felici. And the same thing happens with triste in the plural form. Tristi. Okay? Così, ecco. So, lo stato del mondo ci rende tristi. Sì, lo so, è vero, sì. Ma andrà tutto bene. Everything will be okay. It will be okay. Right, so we've got some examples there that we've looked at. So hopefully you'll be thinking, right, if something makes me sad or makes me happy or makes me stressed or makes me nervous, then the main point is that those things are adjectives. So I need to use rendere, okay? Generally it's going to be something in the third person that makes you sad or happy, or it might be in the plural, like, I don't know, le mie amiche mi rendono felice. So my friends make me happy, or my family make me happy, or my kids make me happy, or reading books. That's a singular one. Remember that if you're saying something like reading books, then you use the verb leggere, for example, the infinitive form, and it functions like a noun. So leggere mi rende felice. The fact of reading makes me happy. So you can use the verb in its infinitive form and it functions like a third person singular subject. So rendere plus an adjective and fare plus an infinitive verb. But remember also you need to probably use direct object pronouns. It makes me happy. It makes me smile. Kind of thing. Right, let's take a few more examples from here, just a couple. So on the topic of fare plus an infinitive verb, I'm going to read it out and I want you to tell me what conjugation of the verb fare is necessary. So let's have a look. Okay. This might be a bit more difficult. Le due ultime canzoni d'Adele mi piangere. Le due ultime canzoni d'Adele. Now I'm saying d'Adele with like the Italian accent there, Italian pronunciation. Adele. So Adele's last two songs. Le due ultime canzoni d'Adele. Mi something piangere. No, piangere. Piangere. Si piange quando si è triste. Okay, you might cry when you're sad. Piangere is the verb to cry. So that's the example I've got there. Le due ultime canzoni d'Adele. Mi something piangere. So what's happening here? What am I asking you to do? So if you were listening, you would have heard me say, which conjugation of fare do we need? So we've got they make me cry. The last two Adele songs make me cry. And we just need to put a verb here, fare. You're thinking, well, it's fare, Charlie. But it needs to agree with le due ultime canzoni d'Adele, which is basically the subject. The last two Adele songs, they, because we're talking about them, the two songs. Mi fanno piangere. Mi fanno piangere. I bambini mi fanno sorridere. The kids make me smile. La musica mi fa cantare. Music makes me sing. I wanted to get one in with this awesome little verb, starnutire. Okay, it's not one that I always wonder whether it's right. Actually, let me just double check, because sometimes, I say things and if I don't use them often, then I'm not always right. So, sì, starnutire vuol dire così. That was quite good, wasn't it? Okay, that's my excellent sneezing example. So starnutire is to sneeze. And what would make us sneeze? Il pepe, right? Pepper, for example, or bere il caffè. Mi fa starnutire. Okay. Oh, I fiori. I fiori. This is a great example. Should have put this on my homework handout, shouldn't I, guys? I fiori. So flowers make me sneeze. So to sneeze is a verb as opposed to, you know, an adjective. So I fiori mi something starnutire. So because it's the flowers or flowers, plural subject, they make me sneeze. So you need fare in the they form. Mi fanno starnutire. Okay, awesome. Let's see if this last little bit works now. I'm going to have to wrap it up and I'm just having a lot of fun with this quite extensive area of language. Right, so here you can see my fantastic drawings and a couple of adjectives. So here we have stanco, stanca, triste, felice, difficile, difficile. So all of those are adjectives, and then we've got these little le immagini, little images, which are meant to be smiley faces or not so smiley there. This one here is meant to be someone singing. So if something makes me sing, I would say mi fa cantare, ma mi rende felice, mi fa ridere, it makes me laugh, mi fa piangere. Per esempio, la musica dolce, le canzoni di... Oh, come si chiama lui? Come si chiama? Don McLean. Le canzoni di Don McLean mi fanno piangere. They do. È vero. They're quite sad. Ascoltate Vincent. Mi fa piangere. Ok, ma le barzellette mi fanno ridere. Jokes make me laugh. Mia bambina mi... what is this? Is this a verb? Okay, let's see. Mia bambina mi fa sorridere. My daughter, my little girl, makes me laugh. La guerra mi rende triste. Okay? War makes me sad, renders me sad. So we have to pay attention to the fact an adjective is used with rendere. And here we have an adjective, qualcosa che mi rende stanca. Oh, stanca, stanca, stanca. Lavorare troppo mi rende stanca. Okay, so guys, what I'm going to do is send you this video and also, if you're part of my club, this handout. There's a link down there where you can watch this video. You can just click on it or click and press Control, I think, and it'll open the video. You've got the conjugations of fare and rendere, you've got examples, sentences, you've got explanations, and one thing I'm going to mention here, although I'll probably do another video on it at some point, is that if you use these two verbs, or any verb really, in the past tense, and the direct object comes before the verb phrase, then the the past participle will agree with the direct object's gender and number. Let me just show you an example of that, because I don't expect you to be able to do that now, but I don't want you to sort of not understand why it's happening if you see it happening. So let me give an example. So il film mi ha fatto sorridere. Okay, so this is a past tense sentence using one of these structures. It's got, instead of il film mi fa sorridere in the present tense, it's got il film mi ha fatto sorridere. So the film made me, it has made me smile. So if this wasn't the film, but it was something feminine, let me think of something feminine. La canzone. If it was, oh no, scusa. it doesn't matter, actually. I nearly fell into a trap there. So it's not the film or the song, the gender of the film or the song that's made you laugh, made you smile, that changes the past participle. It's the gender of the direct object. So that little me there, if I'm talking and I say this sentence, technically I need to agree the past participle fatto, that bit, with my gender. So il film mi ha fatta, perché io sono una donna, sorridere. So it made me, this bit and that bit, because because this direct object pronoun comes before this verb phrase. That is when you should see the agreement of the past participle with the direct object. However, if you say il film ha fatto sorridere Maria, okay, the film made Maria smile, you'd have the object, Maria, after the ha fatto sorridere verb phrase. So it's to do, when you see the agreement of a past participle, it will be agreeing generally, no, not generally, it will either be agreeing with the subject of the verb or possibly the direct object, when the direct object precedes the verb phrase. Let me show you one more example. That's probably a little bit too much info, isn't it? But maybe I'll do my next video on this kind of thing, because it is the kind of thing that you see sometimes and you think, that's not what my teacher told me. But teachers can't tell their students everything there is to know all in one go. You have to sort of introduce bits in the right kind of order so as not to overwhelm. But yeah, there's always more to learn, and it's not actually that hard once you've got someone who knows how to explain it. So il film, let's do another one with il film, but we're going to use the verb rendere. Mi ha reso, so that's the past participle of rendere, quite unusual, isn't it? Mi ha reso felice. Let's use felice doesn't work because it's already gender neutral, if you like. Mi ha reso, the film made me sad. Sad. Perché non si può usare triste? If I'm trying to get across to you that the past participle, this one, needs to agree with the gender of the and the number of the direct object, if it precedes the verb phrase, then actually it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I can use triste. It doesn't matter. I'm getting a little bit too in depth here. It doesn't matter. That doesn't affect the adjective. What is affected is the direct object pronouns placement on the passato, on the past participle. So what we'll need to do here is have a look at why this sometimes becomes resa. Resa. Il film mi ha resa triste. So if I'm saying in the past tense that the film has made me sad, and I put the me pronoun here, which is where it needs to go, then it technically needs to agree with my gender. So it actually doesn't matter whether you say triste or felice or whatever the adjective is. What matters is that the past participle agrees with the direct object. Difficile, no? No, perfetto. Ok, grazie mille e ci vediamo allora la prossima volta. Ciao!